Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thanks for joining me. Some really interesting ears in this one today. Starting with this one, I've got something to tell you about afterwards. You might spot what's going on here. I will tell you in a bit. I just need to tell you about these ears first. Now, you can probably already see in the distance, can't you? There's something not quite right with this eardrum. And it is extremely retracted. And when I say extremely retracted, it is really retracted. The pressure it's being put on is immense. It's really being pulled in. You can see it wrapped around those bones, can't you? Behind the ear. Quite a big pocket in the attic region as well, which is never good. Now this lady was a persistent cotton bud user. She's pushed this bit right into the roof of her ear canal. That's why I'm removing it. I needs to go anyway, but it'll help me get a better view of the eardrum there. And when I say persistent, I mean persistent. I don't just mean like every week or every day. It's several times a day. Now, hopefully after seeing me, she'll stop doing that and chuck me in the bin. This is the other ear, and as you can see, that is just as retracted as well. Now, what's causing that, I don't entirely know, but this is why you send things to the specialist to take a look at. But you can just see how tightly wrapped around the bones there is, and like I said, little pocket there at the top left-hand corner, which I don't like the look of. Obviously, you can get cholesteatomas collecting in there. I'm not sure whether there is at the moment, but it's got the potential with it being so retracted. Next one, I'll briefly tell you about that, and then I'll get on to what's happened here. An extremely dry one. This it was really crusty. Now this chap always comes to see me every 3 months. This builds up. I think he's been in one of these videos before, but it's a bit of a last minute one. He normally oils it beforehand. I believe he's going in hospital for a new hip, and he wants to be able to hear everything that's going on in the hospital, as you would when people are chatting to you about your health. And he's a hearing aid user, and so that's so it was a bit last minute. We got called in, so he said, I need to get my ear sorted out before, because I might be in hospital for some time. So that's why he didn't oil it. And the reason why I didn't oil it was thinking, well, why on earth didn't you oil that? Because of how dry it is. It would have been easy to get out. Yes, it would have done. But he relies on his hearing aids quite a bit. And if you over oil someone's ear and then they put their hearing aids in, it clogs everything up. So, I mean, it came out without the oil. It just it wouldn't have took as long with it. But if someone wears a hearing aid, we try and avoid it if we can, especially if they rely on it quite a lot. So yeah, what have I done here? The long and short of it is I'm not entirely sure. I think what's probably happened is quite a few of the other specialists that I've spoken to, quite commonly they get problems with your wrist, because all day long you're doing very fine movements while your hand and your wrist and your grip is quite tight, So there's basically all day long doing that. And this is the hand I use the suction. I'm left-handed, for those of you who don't know. So I hold the endoscope with my right hand, and then I use the suction tube with my left hand. So all day long you're doing, I can't do those movements there, because you're doing those movements there, and you can irritate your tendons, tendinitis, and it'd been bugging me for a bit. And then I woke up yesterday morning and I couldn't move it without it being excruciatingly painful. And I thought, oh, what's happened here? Have I slept on it funny at night and that's made it worse? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. So a good old dose of some anti-inflammatories and a couple of other painkillers, and I got this on just to keep it secure, because I can still do the job. I've done a full day in clinic with this on, which it made things a bit easier actually, because instead of moving my wrist, I was just moving my whole hand, So it's good to give it a break anyway every now and then. So yeah, this is helping. Hopefully it's just a temporary thing. I did go, I know there'll be some of you, I did go rugby training last night. I know some of you know I'm involved in rugby as a children's coach, sometimes play myself as well. And I went last night, and obviously as soon as you see your friends, especially when they're involved in a very masculine sport like that, they'll say, oh, hello, what have you been doing with your wrist? Why have you got repetitive strain in your wrist? I'll lead you to insert your own gag there, but no, that's not how. It's totally work related. Maybe I'll sue myself for an industrial injury because I am my own employer. So I'll see how much money I get out myself. But anyways, you can see while I've been waffling on, trying to get this out has been a bit tricky because of how dry it is, but it still came out. It's extremely dry this here. I mean, I've never seen it this dry. It goes to show that it really helps when he uses regular olive oil. I'm not sure which episode it was that he's been in before, so I couldn't tell you to go and look at it so you can compare the difference. I haven't got the foggiest. I think he's been in 2 in some compilations. But it goes to show how much better his ear looks when he's been using it. Because he usually oils it like for 4 or 5 days before he comes to see me. And then going forward, he usually does it, once every couple of weeks or so. Because we know it gets dry, as you can see here. Now, this is the other one which isn't quite as blocked up, but still extremely dry. And I think this came out a bit more straightforwardly than the other one. It just about managed to cling on all in one piece. Yeah, it's still extremely crusty, as you can see. It's like taking cornflakes out of somebody's ear, this one. I have found some odd things in ears over the years. I've never actually found any actual cornflakes, but lots of things that look like cornflakes. So let's just get the last 2 little bits there. The last ear, there's another ear left, so stay tuned. But an interesting story behind it. I mean, the removal itself was fairly straightforward, but we don't think that was the reason why this lady had been having trouble. Let's just have a look at this eardrum. Looks good. Very nice, that one. So yeah, this lady came to see me, quite desperate at the time. She'd been having a real struggle with dizziness, vertigo, room spinning, feeling nauseous, generally feeling horrible. So she went to, I believe she turned up at accident and emergency on the advice of her doctor, just to rule out other potentially sinister causes of that, So I believe she had an MRI scan, also had a CT scan. So they were all clear. They couldn't find anything. And one of the doctors did look in her ear and said, it's a bit blocked up, so it's probably best you get that sorted out, just so we can get a better look at your eardrum afterwards, and then we can see if this was the cause of it. I doubt it was, because it wasn't even fully blocked up. This ear is just a small dead skin plug, which it affected her hearing a little bit. She could hear a little bit better, but she reported that she still had some issues with dizziness, and balance just didn't feel quite right. So it leads them to thinking it could be a couple of other things, such as labyrinthitis, inflammation / infection of the inner ear, or even a condition such as Meniere's disease. I'm not going to go into too much science about Meniere's disease, because I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want to get things wrong. I believe it is quite difficult to diagnose as well, but it is a condition that I'm not even sure if they actually know 100% the reasons for it. A few little things that I've read believe it's been quite difficult. You only diagnose off the symptoms. I don't know if there's any key markers or anything, or tests that you can have. It's just diagnosed based on the symptoms you've got. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But I do see quite a few people who have been diagnosed with Meniere's, who do get these spells of dizziness. It can be quite debilitating as well, and it can be very random as well. I see some people who the attacks happen quite frequently. I see some who it only happens every few years. I know one who was diagnosed with it who had an attack and then nothing for another 10 years. It seems really random from my experience of it, but like I said, I'm no expert on that. But anyway, hopefully I can get through the day today without too much discomfort. But I hope you enjoyed that. But for now, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.